My name is 3-Bit or Amario. Welcome to 3NZ. I guess I'm sort of the host. I don't really know. But got my sister here. Um, and she is an illustrator. I'm an animator. We both have a background in just art.
Just art.
Yeah, just art in general. And thought it would be cool to do a little stream. So, tell us about yourself, others. Sibling number one.
Well, like you, I do lots of different art. I feel like we are both inspired by different facets of art, whether it's animation or whether it's comics or realism and just different types of illustration. But yeah, growing up, I was definitely into comics, and our dad would give us lots of comics, so my style was kind of leaning towards just sequential art and all of that. And then I learned you can do so much more with illustration. So I like to combine my two loves for those styles and for the history of what that is. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, growing up, I was very competitive with her, um, and that led to
Led to
me
you
like
becoming overpowered.
yeah. I mean, like growing up, me and her would constantly just draw like different comic book characters. There's an artist called Stan Lee. Hello, lady. Stan Lee. Oh, Stan Lee. Jim Lee.
Jim Lee.
I was like, wait, Stanley. Jim
Yeah.
Lee. He did a lot of awesome Batman comics, and
Yeah.
I learned a lot about art from him. And then eventually, I found another artist I really like, and I still uh, have my art style inspired by him to this day.
Yeah.
But
Same.
yeah, hey everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining us. This was a pain to set up, so
Mostly
it took
because
some time.
your setup is perfect and my setup is in a crazy, actually messy room that you can't.
Yeah, so we're gonna try some things. So I am going to well, we're gonna explain what we're gonna be doing today because this is a podcast, but this is also us working, and then you guys get to see our thought process as we're working. So I thought it would be kind of cool. Like Aziza's constantly drawing stuff, and we're doing this professionally. We get paid and stuff for it. So why not have it so you guys get to see um, what we're working on and stuff like that. So I am going to be animating um, Master Chief, and I'm thinking maybe a table's gonna be thrown at him, and he's gonna catch it and like throw it away, or something like that. We'll see. We'll see. And then, what are you gonna be doing?
I want to do Frida Kahlo, and I'm going to definitely be doing some mixed media stuff with different colored pencils and some graphite and markers, and yeah, just see where it takes me.
Okay. Well, I have the next screen up, so now they can see the Frida Kahlo, um, and my Master Chief
Awesome.
thing. So we're just gonna see how this goes. I have no idea. But yeah, talk about before you jump in. Talk about like what you think before you put your pencil to the paper.
So I think whenever there is an actual human being, not like a city or an animal, I definitely am looser. And by looser, I'm like just trying to get the overall shape. Like, I feel like when we were younger, we tried to be perfect in getting exact proportions and exact symmetry and trying to make it look like the thing that we were actually looking at. And I feel like over time, I've gotten so loose and so free and just like placing down something that feels right, and if it isn't quite right, getting back to it, but just, working as I go, like a step by step process. Also, I feel like it's a way quicker way for me to get things done without overthinking it.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
for sure, for sure. And my thought process with animation, usually what I'll do is I will shoot reference. So I will go outside, shoot reference of me catching the table and throw it and just do like actions like that. But
They used to capture your reference for SCAD. You used to be like in the yard doing jumps.
Yeah, she would actually help me shoot my reference. Like, basically, God's like, hey, can you shoot me really quick? And she would like basically help me shoot videos before I animated anything. I'm not gonna do that for this podcast. I'm just gonna go ahead and animate it. But that's what I would usually do before like starting off. Let's just go for it, and we'll.
All right.
This will be a chill stream. You guys in the chat, if you have any questions as we're working,
you should tell me too, because I can't really see the chat. So you be in charge of that, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys have any questions in the chat, you can let us know. Love all the ultimate family jumping in here. So thank you guys for coming out supporting us. We actually discussed having my other sister on as well. I don't really know how to do that, but
squeeze her in.
We can probably do that at some point.
Yeah.
Okay. Obi, I did have that Oreo drink. It was glorious.
What Oreo drink?
He kept telling me on one of my statuses to get a Oreo drink and stuff like that.
That sounds good. I've been trying to eat so healthy. I've been making my own smoothies, and yeah, I've been like trying to be on my fitness game lately.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So how's Rumi and them doing?
So yeah, they're doing good. You know, when it was like that fake snow that was falling through, I was like super excited for them, because I was like, if I was a kid, this would be exciting. Like, yeah, you like are excited for a snow day. And then I let them outside, and they stopped and they looked around, and they were like completely unfazed. They didn't care at all. I was like, this is exciting, right? And they're like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, for those people who don't know, Rumi is her doggy, little puppy.
Yeah.
Okay. I am already running into issues, which I...
Why'd you choose Master Chief?
I was looking for Spider-Man, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to draw.
Yeah, I was looking for a Spider-Man one, but for some reason, he was acting really weird. Hey, 3-Bit, when are you going to do your videos like acquisitions and where the game industry is probably headed? Loved your perspective. Thanks, man. I want to do more videos. Honestly, if you want to hear more of my thoughts on stuff like that, I am usually in the Fun Speculations podcast, but I do want to make more videos at some point. I already recorded a bunch of videos. I just never posted it, just because I'm very I'm a kind of a perfectionist. And thanks for dropping by, lady. Yeah, I'm a perfectionist, so you know what? Hold me accountable. I will release a lot of videos like that next month. Okay, just hold me accountable. Just keep bothering me about it. Can we go into the reasoning for Master Chief catching a table?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Question.
I don't really know where it came from.
On the third table.
I just randomly thought about it. Yeah, I have no idea. I just thought,
maybe you're thinking of Spider-Man throwing a table or catching a table, and you're like, actually, I'm just gonna put Master Chief instead.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Because I can't tell you my thought process. I don't know where it came from. I'm thinking where it came from. Like, tables are pretty easy to model, and that's probably where it came from, honestly. I was like, oh, I could just model a table really quick, so I don't have to worry about it. I really don't know though. So I can't see what you're working on, but I'm assuming it looks awesome.
It's getting there. It needs some more work. Gonna add some colors after.
For those people who don't know what I'm doing, I am making it so I can't select the city because it's in my way and it's annoying me. So I'm making it so I can't select it. There we go. Kate. Listen, I don't know. It just randomly came in my brain. Oh, this model is weird. Uh-oh. I actually don't like this model. I guess I'll have to deal with it. Usually it has like leg controls if you like bend his body, but he's just going into the floor.
I feel like there's always some type of glitch like that you're like, what is happening?
Yeah. East West, appreciate it. I first heard you on Mr. Boomstick's podcast and found your channel. It's been dormant, so didn't know you're on other podcasts. Appreciate your view as you're in the business. Yeah, thanks, dude. That makes me want to freaking start doing videos again.
Yeah, dude, that's so good. I don't even know what that is. I'm like, you did what?
Yeah, like I stopped making videos. Like it started to get pretty big in some of the videos, and people like arguing in the comment section and stuff. It's just funny.
Yeah.
But when I started going on other podcasts, I kind of got I don't know. I guess a little discouraged, a little I don't know. It was like easier to be on someone else's show than building your own. Like, I don't know, like the pressure isn't on you as much. So yeah, I just stopped after a while. And
I feel like that's with a lot of things though, like thinking about it in terms of like it feels a lot easier to like work for someone else's company than like building your own company from the ground up. And it feels like you just have so much work to do by yourself, and when something feels already more established, you're like, oh, all I have to do is just join and like do this thing. Yeah. But the riskier choice is often like more rewarding over time.
For sure. And we, if people don't know, we have a family business. So we basically teach kids how to do some of the stuff that we are talking about in this podcast. And we sort of have that mindset, like just growing up, like we could do it on our own. Yeah, like because we were kind of forced by our parents. But like my dad would literally be like, okay, you see the mayor of Atlanta? I'm like, yeah, go talk to him. And I would be like, what? I don't want to talk to him. And he would like basically force us to do stuff like that. But that actually taught me a lot.
Yeah.
It taught me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd be like, go email that person.
Yeah, go email that person.
I'd be like, I don't even know them. Go email that person. Let's do it.
Yeah. So I'm making the table. What animation software I'm using? I'm using Maya. This is Maya 2020, and I'm making the table right now, if you can't tell. I get the chill music in the back.
What's the program you use that's like it makes your process go by quicker? Is it Maya? Is it Photoshop? Is it like something different?
What, like for animation? Like my animation process?
Yeah, for animation. Yeah.
Honestly, if you do a lot of pre-production stuff, like if I filmed myself catching a fake table and then I dropped it in Maya, that would make my process go by faster, because I'm like, how big is the
Mm-hmm.
table? How should he react to catching it and stuff like that? It kind of eliminates all those questions.
Right.
So actually filming reference of me doing this stuff is quicker. But since I didn't do that, it's going to take me a lot longer to figure out how he should catch this dang table.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The more work you gave for yourself.
Yeah, because it's different. Because animations, the process for animation can take a lot longer in pre-production, where you're preparing everything. You're preparing footage. You are basically sculpting out all the models and stuff like that. But
right.
That can take longer than 2D animation. 2D animation, you could just go ahead and go for it.
Right.
But 2D animation takes a lot longer to actually animate. So, yeah, that's a whole thing.
That makes sense.
Hello, Pong. Thanks for joining, man. Got a question, East West. Video game industry is very toxic in the Twitter sphere and YouTube chats. I don't know how grown men spend hours arguing over plastic boxes. Happy to receive the notification tonight. What do you think about that, Zeke?
That reminds me of like us playing Halo.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, I mean, yeah, because I remember I told you the story. My first comment ever on YouTube, and this is back when we played like Halo a lot. But my first comment ever was on a James Blunt music video, and what was it? I think it was like the You're Beautiful video, and I was like, oh, I really love this song, but this video is so, yeah, I was like, this video is so strange. And I wasn't even dissing it or anything. I was just like, you know, visually, it's kind of a strange concept. And I remember writing it, and someone was like, how dare you? He is a god. You need to die. Like, go kill yourself. Like, and just cussing me out and everything. And that was like my only comment ever after that. After that, I've never made a YouTube comment because I was like, whoa, like if I
even to this day, or
what else if I really express even to this day, yeah, I've never wrote. I have thoughts about it, but I keep them to myself. I just look at them. And plus, I feel like a lot of the gamers that we would play against on Halo were just like sexist and crazy, and yeah, I feel like it's sad, but it feels like it almost comes with the territory. But
yeah,
it also shouldn't come with the territory. It's annoying.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic. Like, because me and Aziza and my other sister, Keela, we all played Halo growing up. And it's basically, to answer there's two questions that just popped up in the chat. That, like, how did I get into the industry? It's because of Halo. I will answer that in a second. But first, I'm going to answer Jasper's question, which is Maya better than Blender? Honestly, slowly, Blender is getting way better, and it's sad. It's sad to me.
Why is it sad?
Because I love Maya so much. And Blender is free, and it has a lot more features. And when if I'm lighting this scene and trying to make it look all fancy and stuff, just picture like a play or lighting something. The process of it is way faster in Blender. So Blender is basically getting better, but still not the industry standard. Like if you go to Disney or Cartoon Network, or just think about 3D studios, they're still going to be using Maya for the most part. We could both answer this question. You said, how do we get into the industry?
Different ways. Like, what's it's through a lot of different ways. A lot of it has been through like going to events or like word of mouth or connecting with people or talking with people, and then like inviting us, like talk about Pinewood, because I feel like
Yeah.
Pinewood was a really idea.
Yeah, Pinewood actually changed a lot from my career. Basically, if you guys don't know what Pinewood is, it's a movie studio where they film all the Marvel films, and we were invited there for a couple of years. Our art school was basically invited there, and
Mm-hmm.
what they wanted us to do was all the different donors and people in the industry who basically use Pinewood as their venue. We basically put on an event for them. So every year we started to get crazier and crazier with our ideas for the event, and we people start recognizing our school as someone in the community that is basically respected, and we started being on different newspapers. We started doing interviews for people and stuff like that. Aziza was literally just on the news. I mean, you could talk about that later, like crazy. But we got a lot of um, sort of recognition from that, and
Yeah. The
um,
last one we did was the interactive comic, and we did that with Paul Jenkins, and it was based off of his book that I think he wrote. I don't know if he illustrated it, but I know he wrote it.
yeah,
But
he
it was
wrote it.
called Fairy.
Hmm.
Yeah, Fairy Quest. Um, yeah, we got to create literally like we had a whole set environment, and they gave us props from, I think it was Black Panther, or was it WandaVision, or was it
We got the
one of
props from the
yeah
WandaVision set. We didn't know it was WandaVision.
yeah yeah. So they let us use some props, and basically you walked into a room, and it was just like a live comic, and there was different like smoke settings throughout and like haunting music, and it really made you inside the environment, and it really like just encapsulated his comic, and it was a lot of fun. It was like the first time we ever made like a comic, like we jumped inside it. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, we have been doing things like that for a while, but it was really cool to do it with Paul. And yeah, I feel like sometimes your love of art or just your passion, when it shines through, you just naturally tend to meet other creatives who are just as interested or just as excited to like talk about something, or just to engage with you, or to work on a project with you. And so a lot of times that was definitely happening. People would be like, oh wow, like you do this thing, I do this thing, like let's have a conversation, or let's, connect.
Yeah,
So yeah, I feel like that happened so often.
yeah, that was definitely like sort of not a good origins of us getting in the industry, but it definitely like is a is a moment. It's definitely a moment.
Yeah, I feel
Um,
like there's many like tiny moments of us doing things.
yeah, because after that, I went to join Paul's studio, Meta Studios, and I do a bunch of stuff for them. Um, Different NFTs I did for them. I have a whole topic about NFTs. I was like, Mav, let me talk about NFTs on one of his like just like a smaller show or something. Um, because there's so much of a misconception about NFTs. Uh, but I think that will be a topic for another video, because that's complicated.
You're like, I can get into that.
Yeah, I would literally go into it for like an hour, and I don't want to do that on this show. So next time. Also, if we have any connection or audio problems, let us know, and I will try my best to fix it. Okay. Also, I this dude's model is so weird.
Why?
Like whoever rigged this Master Chief did a terrible job. Because let me tell you why. Usually, like how it is when you're moving an arm, like I'm gonna show on my screen for a second. Alright, so hello. Usually I wouldn't be able to do this on a I won't, like, I shouldn't be able to move this piece around like this as I'm animating. It kind of screws you up as you're working, but that's okay. I will deal with it.
Just improvise.
Yeah. So now people see your full screen. Oh, I forgot to rotate it. Alright, it's freezing. Okay. Let's see. You talk to them while I try to figure this out.
Okay, tell me something about the saying.
I'm
try to respond to it.
Talk about when you were on the news.
Okay. So I did a mural, and it took a really long time because I started it before the pandemic, and it got approved and everything. And basically, it was meant to be a movable mural. So we're going to do the mural on wood pieces, and then you can move it around to certain parts of the city throughout Atlanta. So yeah, it got approved, and it was really exciting. I was working on it, and obviously, when the pandemic started, everything just kind of like halted for a good bit. So yeah, I was working on it, kind of taking breaks and not working on it, and then when things started turning like, less crazy, no lockdowns, no anything, the project started back up again, and basically the city of Atlanta were like, okay, well, where is the first location you would like to have this mural? So we chose East Point, and basically I worked on what was called Atlanta's Finest, and just honoring a lot of people in Atlanta. Some figures that people know, and some figures who you kind of are like, who is this? Just everyday normal people, but people who are making a difference in their community, or people doing things that are really incredible, and you just have no idea who they are. So it was a good opportunity to kind of just honor them and paint them and make something really creative. And so I painted it, I finished it, and I don't know the process of how it was being promoted, but yeah, that's when WSB TV were like, let's do a story, and like, how hard was it choosing all of these figures? And it really wasn't that hard, because I feel like it's made so where you can add multiple people. It'd be a lot easier if I had like an actual image of it so I can show you what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was really fun. It was very time consuming, but it was a lot of fun, and the finishing process was good, because sometimes you start something, you have no idea how it's going to end up, and that was definitely one of those projects, because it was definitely stop and go. But yeah, it was fun. It was nice to be able to do that. And my theme was always to like give people flowers while they're still here. Like, don't tell them they're great after they pass or after something really terrible happens. Like, just, love on people and honor them and do what you can to appreciate them while, they're still on Earth.
Yeah. For sure. All right. So we were having some stream problems for a second, but I think we're back.
Okay.
I think we are back, but I'm not sure. Okay. Animate the table. So the table's there. Now he just needs to catch it. So what I'll do is like here, I think. How did your upbringing inspire to get into the arts? Were your parents into it and you inherited, or did they cultivate the environment at home to inspire you siblings? Dang, that's a good question.
That's a really good question.
That's a really good question. Hold on. Oops. So I went to just our faces for a second. So just my face and her face, just so we can answer this. Good for you. So I originally didn't want to be an artist.
You're a little hater. You're like, my sister's an artist. I'm not doing that. My dad's an artist. No, thank you.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it because my dad did it. So I was like, I'm gonna be different. And so around that time, I was really into sports. I was doing a lot of basketball. Yeah, I was doing taekwondo and stuff like that. And one day, it just sort of like snapped of how cool it was what my dad was doing. He gave me his box. It's like a metal box of comics. And his comics he created when he was a kid. So he was just like, here, just check it out. And it's like hundreds of comics that he created, original characters that he created, and I thought that was really cool. So what I decided to do was redraw every single one of his books. And by the end of the last book that I drew, I was a better artist. And then I was like, okay, that was my first chapter. So now my second chapter is to get better than Aziza. That was literally in my brain as a kid.
And we both were drawing. I feel like we were drawing like most of our lives, because I remember drawing as young as like 4 and 5. So yeah, it's really funny. Like, we've been drawing for a while, and I just kept trying to be better than like the artists I was seeing. So like, if I replicated artwork from an X-Men comic or from like a Batman comic, I was like, wow, if I thought it was really good, I'm like, I want to draw this exactly how the artist just drew this. And that was like a lot of incredible practice for me.
Yeah. And so I was in competition with you, but it's interesting because we are all artists. Like, pretty much everyone in my family is artists. We have like a great grandfather, like a black and white picture of him painting, or Uncle Vincent or whatever. Yeah, he's like painting a wall and stuff. So it is definitely like in our blood. But we all followed a different path towards art. Aziza went more of the realistic illustrations and just really amazing portraits and stuff like that. I went more towards animation, and and that's where we decided to go. And my other sister, Keela, went more towards the fashion side of everything. So while we all started off,
she pretty much better artist than all of us. Like our well, my younger sister, your older sister, our middle sister.
Yeah.
She was a really great artist. Like she understood realism so well, and I feel like understanding the foundation of realism is important, and then you can just do whatever you want. But she drew so beautifully, and then she was kind of like, I'm into other things. So now she does fashion and marketing, and she's so great at it. But yeah, we've always really loved it. We've always been supported in the arts and supported in going for, you know, our own artistic goals.
Yeah, and we're a Marvel family. Like, if for those who don't know, my dad worked for Marvel, and he did like small stuff. Like he was a cleanup artist, and he also what did he do? He was like, sometimes he would answer the emails. You know, at the end of Marvel issues, they had like fan mail and stuff like that. He would answer the fan mail, so I know he did that too. Yeah, he just did some stuff like that.
I know you talked about being a cleanup artist and maybe like inking something. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, he did some cool stuff like that. But anyways, I'm gonna go back to the art camera so you can see our stuff. I just thought that was such a good question. I thought you deserved the moment where you could see our eyes. Yeah. All right. He says, the reason I was asking is because my daughter, who is 8, is into arts, and I want to support her grow her talents. That's amazing.
That is good, because not a lot of parents and not a lot of people are still super supportive of the arts. Like, it's really fascinating how comics now, like, there's so much potential for them, and there's so much love for them, and it's grown so much. And people used to be like, oh, you know, that's just comics. It's not like it's not something to be respected. It's not real art. It's not something that's gonna, you know, be long withstanding or long lasting. And now look at Marvel, look at DC, Dark Horse comics. Like, there's so much success in all of them.
People dissing comics while it's making like billions of dollars. It's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy that it still has to be proven that these stories are valuable, or that these stories, like, like comic books, have to be. I don't know. Like, it's still like people are still in that prove it phase while it's making billions of dollars. It's
right.
It's like, what?
I see a lot of like famous actors like saying that too. Like, oh, comic industry taking over. It's not even real art. And it's like, all right, I can see that you're jealous that your movie didn't make as much as our movie.
Like Martin Scorsese was saying stuff about it. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, because they don't feel like it's real art or true art, and I feel like that can easily be debated. But you know, don't diss it. Just, you know, if it's something you don't understand, then it's something you don't understand. But I feel like they go the route of just shaming it or saying it's not something that needs to be respected.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, people fear what they do not understand. Right?
That's true.
You guys are asking a lot of good questions today. I was not ready for you. Also, I'm not liking this rig, but I will try my best for you guys. I think it's because there are two kind of types of rigs. This is called a rig. Master Chief, this is the rig. There are two different types of rigs you normally get in 3D. There's one called FK and there's IK. I believe I'm used to IK, or yeah. And what that means is if I move his body, his knees will automatically bend, and I don't have to animate that. But it's making me do literally everything, which I'm like, okay, I'm not used to that. but it's fine. It brings me back. Pong says your family needs to combine powers and save my X-Men. The newer X-Men comics are tragic.
I don't like the newer X-Men films. Like, no, I just don't like them.
I just rewatched some of them.
I've been rewatching them because I was surprised they were all on Disney Plus. I'm like, what?
Wait, what?
They're all the X-Men films are on Disney Plus.
Oh, I was illegally it. I guess I don't have to.
Easy access. Yeah, I was rewatching one of Wolverine's films where his brother is in the film.
Oh, Origins?
Yeah, there was like a lot of parts in there that was like, I don't really remember this being a little corny. But Logan is still really awesome.
Oh yeah, that's dope film. We got another question. As visible minority, which I am too, what kind of hurdles and challenges did you overcome, or were you fortunate not to experience such ugliness?
That could be a conversation that could take like, a long time.
Yeah, that's a conversation in itself. I mean, how much do we want to touch on this? Because I feel like
you should schedule that conversation.
Yeah.
The quicker answer would be like, yeah, there's absolutely challenges. No, I'm not even gonna go there. There's absolutely challenges. I feel like despite the challenges, like I feel like we wouldn't be doing what we are doing now if we didn't genuinely like what we're doing and enjoy what we're doing. But it's so hard. It's so difficult, especially when you're trying to work in spaces that aren't very diverse or in spaces that feel very like private or there's not a lot of representation. Yeah, and also like I remember being in SCAD.
All right, go for it.
So hard. Yeah. It's like how do you reel back or how do you give it? I'll say this. This is the reason why I draw a lot of black art, or what's deemed as black art. I don't really deem it as like black art, but I do draw black figures and black characters and things like that. But when I was in SCAD, we obviously had to learn about a variety of artists and how they influence history. And I swear to you, there would be no black people, no people of color, like nothing. You would think that black people just did not exist. Like we didn't do art. That wasn't our thing.
We just spawned in
the
weren't
there, world. And that bothered me so much. Like it bothered me. It was crazy. I was like, well, I'm a black artist. I'm like, how come I'm not being introduced or learning about other artists of color? Like how is that so? Like you would think that we just weren't there. And so that infuriated me. And so towards I think like the middle of my semester, like right before I was graduating, I was like,
Savannah, or was this in Atlanta?
Oh my God, it's both. But Savannah, don't even get me started on Savannah.
Savannah? Okay, let me tell you guys.
It's very triggering. But yeah, so you would think they didn't exist, and I was very adamant about creating work that represented who I was and just creating work that I wanted to see, because I didn't see a lot of that work. Like now there's much more of that work, but back then it wasn't a lot. It wasn't anything. It's still challenging, but yeah, it's a learning experience. You're learning to navigate it, and it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. That was I couldn't have said it any better. That was Very well said. We dealt with some crazy stuff in our school, and I'll just leave it at that. How's your drawing coming along? I can't see your drawing, but I'm assuming it's entering the shading phase. Whoa. Let's see. He says, thank you, Ziza, for sharing. I'm sorry to hear that. I think the arts would be shielded from such things. Appreciate you sharing. Nope.
Yeah, I'm sorry it was like jumble and everything. Those conversations are like hard to have, and I feel like sometimes it's hard to be very open about that because it just brings up other situations. But yeah, I don't mind sharing it, and I'm glad you were able to take something from it.
Yeah, and my dad, yes, he did acknowledge it eventually. That he's like, "You are a better artist than me," and I'm like, "Yeah." That was like an achievement to my life.
My good dad.
It's like, yeah. Oh, snap. 16. So Joanna Dark says, that's how it was for me, growing up as a Latino and not reading or learning about incredible Latin writers, poets, and artists, and I had someone introduce me to that.
Yeah, it's so frustrating, and I've been talking about it for a while. Like, even I brought it up before I graduated to one of my professors, and hopefully, I think he was telling me he was going to try to change his particular curriculum, but I don't understand it. I really don't. It's very strange to me. Because, they do exist, but you have to like really research, and then when you do find out that they're there, they're out there, you're like, wow, why aren't they being learned about?
Yeah, it's crazy. I learned a lot about the graffiti movement, if you guys don't know about that. Basically, it was around the time in New York where a lot of cops were being abusive to a lot of black people in New York. So a lot of artists started making, they basically were protesting through artwork. And how they decided to do that was graffiti on walls, and that's around the time where you saw a lot of graffiti on New York walls and subway trains. And what they also did was that's where you start seeing the crown on a lot of artists, like Basquiat drawings. I think Aziza even did a couple drawings where it has like the crown on the head.
Yeah.
And it basically symbolizes power. One of the first artists I know that kind of started with that was Basquiat, and he had a piece, I can't remember what it was called. I had a whole essay about it. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But
we worked with Say Adams too, who he incorporates the history of all of that. Like he's done cover art for Beastie Boys and Run DMC, and he's so fantastic at what he does. He does like amazing logos, and they just feel like they're connected to a lot of history and a lot of people, and they have so much style and flair to them, and they're all different. And yeah, he's fantastic at graffiti. He's fantastic at design. And yeah, we learned a lot from him, just like watching his work process. And he's very meticulous with his work process, like so like detailed, and so like this goes here first and then this. And I love watching the process of different people's work. Like that's very fascinating for me. But yeah, like graffiti I feel like is more respected today, or people find it more cooler today and less like, oh, vandalism.
Yeah, that's true. It's gonna be super weird. Let me put it here, and then the legs. He says, hold on, I'll come to your question in a second. I'm like trying to fix this so it doesn't look really weird. He says, Aziza, how did you view your brother's competitive nature when it comes to the arts? As he mentioned earlier, he was trying to beat you.
I thought it was so weird because, like, every time I thought it was funny. So yeah, we can go into two stories here. The first story I want to tell you is I thought it was weird at the time because I wasn't sure that was quite what he was trying to do, but I remember like every time he would draw something, and if he felt like he leveled up, he would show me and be like, look what I did. And he would be like, amazing, right? And I'd be like, yeah, amazing. Like I was always supportive and everything, but my brother is competitive, and we're both competitive. We're just competitive with different things. My brother, when he wants to be really good at something, he's gonna like go 100% in, and I have to like supremely care about it. And I cared about it, but it wasn't enough to be like, I want to be better than my brother, or I am better than him. I was just caring about it differently. But he thought I was like the standard of what was good art, and so he was naturally like, I want to get better than Aziza. And I will never forget, like, I was in New York, and my brother literally called me because there's an artist who was helping you, and it had you,
Yeah.
it clicked for you to where you understood proportions, which was like your not your greatest strong point. And I remember to this day, you called me and you're like, Aziza, I'm a great artist now. I'm probably even better than you. You were telling me about some work that you were working on. I think you showed me on xCloud or something. Yeah. And I was laughing in my head so hard. I was like, that is great. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't take it like, I didn't take offense to it or anything. I just thought it was really funny, and I was happy about his own journey. And I feel like he definitely developed his own style, and like he had to go through that process to enjoy and, you know, learn what he's doing today.
Yeah, that was a good way to point it. Because like back then, like I like to tell that story because I obviously like that's like the opposite of my mindset now, and I just think it's weird to
like reflect on that.
Yeah, like now I think it's awesome that like our journeys are like going different paths, and like
yeah,
I can like appreciate us growing up and having different art styles. But I just like telling that story because I think it's so funny how
it's like what.
But to be honest, like that did push me, which is why I tell that story. That did like that was my main motivator. I was like, Aziza, yeah, I'm gonna get better. And I was like,
you want to know what was like one of my motivators too? Was like that was like encouraging, but like if you drew something that looked like crap, Dad would be like, what is this? Like, you should fix that. I always tell people that, like, he wasn't like, that's amazing, I'm so proud of you, thank you for showing me. He would be like, you should go darker there. Like, oh, you should fix that.
I never thought about that. Yeah, growing up in an artist.
Yeah, our dad, like, My dad was never gonna just compliment me just because I was his daughter. He was gonna be like, hey, like if you want to be a better artist, like here's what you should fix. And so I feel like I grew thick skin artistically through that. Because my dad was constantly critiquing my work, constantly being like, this looks not good. Here's how you can fix it. And so I was learning a lot through that.
Yeah. For sure. We got a Josh in the chat saying, Aziza, can you demonstrate how to draw a perfect circle? Yeah, I'll go. I will go full screen on you so people can see drawing the perfect circle.
Of course, I get asked this question. All right, I'm gonna draw the circle over here.
Okay, wait, where are you drawing it? Oh wait, right there. Hold on, your face is blocking it.
That's actually pretty good. Look at that. That's my first try.
Draw it like above her little headband thing.
Above?
Yeah,
okay,
right
I'll
there.
draw up here.
Yeah, draw it right there.
I'll draw it again. This one's a little bit more wonky, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah, our dad would make us. It was my dad and some other teacher that was working at the academy at one point.
Vaughn.
Yeah, Vaughn.
Yeah.
We had to draw 100 circles in like this one piece of paper.
They're called ellipses. Be like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is also why I hate animating in freaking IK or whatever it's called. Hold on, what is this? Because his feet are gonna slide and then I gotta fix it. Alright. I got some good music playing. It's a shame you can't hear it.
I was like, I don't know what's playing.
You guys can hear the music, right? Aziza and 3-Bit, was your dad's approval a motivator, and when did you stop seeking it, if at all?
It was actually like sometimes it was annoying, of course. Like when you're a kid, you're like, shut up, like you don't want anyone to tell you anything. So yeah, sometimes it was definitely annoying. But for most part, like I knew I wanted to learn, and I knew like there were things that my dad understood about art that I didn't quite understand. So for most part, I was just like taking it in, and I was actually being receptive towards it. And yeah, it's definitely made me a better artist. I feel like when dad critiques us now, we're like, we got it. Like we're more so like, we got our vision, like just let us do this, and then we'll come and show you and ask you for feedback.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is now.
Yeah,
we got this. We've been doing this.
Yeah.
Some time. But yeah, I mean, same. He was like he did teach us a lot growing up, and he was never the type of dad is just like, again, just like, oh, that looks good. Like, okay, if it looks good, if it really looks good, then he'll give you some compliment.
Maybe like, wow, that looks good.
Then you feel like, oh yes,
I did it.
But like for the most part, he'd be like, you can fix this. This needs some shadow here and there. So that always pushed me for sure to making better artwork.
Who's your favorite artist now? Who would you say?
It's still Kenneth Rockford. I love his stuff you guys don't know who that is, he draws a lot of the Superman books, and he doesn't use shadow. Like, what? He does really colorful stuff and doesn't use shadow at all, and I love that because I hate drawing shadows on my code.
I love drawing shadows.
So I look for any way to avoid drawing shadows. And so I love, that's why I love his work. He doesn't have shadows in his stuff.
Like, oh my gosh, what an amazing example.
Yeah. What is happening? Oh my gosh, my hand is freaking out. 16. Wonder where. Interesting. I'm gonna delete that for now. Currently, just to say like what we do now, I am currently working at an ad agency called Dagger, and my job there is to animate commercials. So
Skirt, skirt.
So I am we have a lot of Super Bowl and March Madness commercials coming up, so I don't know how much I'm allowed to say about this, so I'm just gonna say
nothing then.
I am animating stuff, and it's cool.
Yeah. I'm just teaching different illustration classes, and I am currently doing commissions, and I'm freelance at the moment. And I have some murals coming up, but they have been postponed due to the weather. But yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know.
That's cool.
Waiting for it to be like, okay, now I'm gonna do the mural, and yeah, the city keeps pushing it, so.
Yeah. Well, that is dope. I broke this guy's arm, and I don't know where. Okay, it's better. It is better. Thank you guys for the awesome questions, by the way.
Yeah, these are pretty good questions.
You guys asked awesome questions, and yeah, basically all the stream is about is we're working on something, and we get to just chill with you guys and have a good time. Tonight is my first night joining you fine folks. Happy you answered my questions. Aziza and 3-Bit, you are an inspiration. I discovered Everborn Saga as well. He's another awesome streamer.
Oh, cool.
Happy to have you folks in the arts. Yes, we need more.
More artists.
Because for the most part, I'm on a lot of video game podcasts, and I am a fan of games in general, and there's a lot I have to say about games, but there's a lot more I have to say about art and then animation. Like, it's literally my job, so there are times I want to like nerd out about it, and just go full-fledged on stuff in animation, or eventually I'm gonna have a podcast about NFTs because I have a lot to say about that. But it's not, I can't always do that on a video game podcast, because it's about video games, right? I'll occasionally like sneak in some things in there when I can about like stuff going on in the industry, but it's not always the platform to talk about that stuff. So podcasts like this where I can talk about art and do it with my sister is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Thank you guys for coming. And these are just picture elevator music on right now. What did I think of the Matrix demo using UE5? I thought that UE5 is absolutely amazing. The Matrix demo is probably one of the best looking tech demos I've ever seen. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty revolutionary in a lot of different ways. I think the only thing that a lot of people have to figure out, or game developers have to figure out, is how to get that frame rate under control. And the best way to do that is to utilize some of the features that are already in the Xbox, which is like variable rate shading, which is like smoothing out, pretty much just a smoothing out like frames. Some of the machine learning that is in these consoles, that will help a lot with different things. Yeah. He said, Jack and the Other says, do you accept commissions from anyone, Aziza?
I do. I am currently doing commissions like all this month and definitely into February.
Nice. And she did that painting that's right behind her. For those who don't know, that that's not just a random picture of Chadwick. She actually drew that. I want to break this rig so bad. Actually, I could show you guys why this rig is terrible in a second. I'll compare it to another rig. Depends how much time. How much time you want to do this? You want to do it till 12?
It's up to you.
Okay. We'll do it till like 12 or so, you guys. But thank you guys for coming. Got about 10 minutes. City scenes. Hey, Kate. Do you suffer from carpal tunnel syndrome? Or straining on hand and wrist? It feels like it sometimes. It really does. What about you, Aziza?
Not that I know of. That used to scare me. I used to like check in with myself and be like, oh, am I still okay?
Yeah, hold on. Let me think about, how would you catch a table like this? I think I wanted to like catch it and sort of like throw it back. He's gonna like catch it, I think. So this pose is gonna be something like this.
Did you figure it out?
What?
Your rig situation?
No, it's like, I wish I had a little drawn whiteboard. It's like, here's the difference. Yeah, I mean, I know what to do. It just, working with these types of rigs, there's a reason why the industry started moving towards the other types of rigs. There are two types of rigs. A little fun fact, you guys. An educational bit of the show. There is an FK, and then there's an IK. I always get them mixed up of which is which, so let's just say that FK, I know what they stand for. Forward kinematics. That's what it stands for. IK stands for inverse kinematics. Forward kinematics means when I move this character's body, like it'll automatically like bend the legs and then it'll like stretch it out. Like I don't have to animate that. Like I pretty much just picture like a doll. I'm able to move him and squish him down, and it saves a ton of time for animations like this where I want him to bend and do crazy stuff. If it's an IK, which this is, that means if I move this character's leg, it only affects this joint. So you see how I'm moving this leg, his body is pretty much just staying there. That is not helpful for me at all. Because that means I have to keep adjusting it and making it look not awkward. So it's fine. I mean, you guys get to just see the process of everything, and me fighting this rig. But that's pretty much what the difference is between those two different things. This is a question for both of us, I guess. And actually, I have a funny thing to say about this. He says, how do you stay sharp when it comes to your crafts? 3-bit, there's constant technological changes. How do you stay on top? So Aziza refuses to use technology. And
it's not completely true. That's not completely true.
It takes her so long to use
it does.
this.
It does,
So,
yeah. I'm very like traditional, and by traditional I like using like tools. I like holding things and creating them, and then sometimes I'll use like Photoshop or whatever to like finish it or complete it or whatever the case is. I still work on Photoshop and I'll do projects on it, but I've always been that way. I've always been like very slow to like learn a program and take my time with it. And yeah, it takes me a minute, but I'm not against it.
A long minute. She needs convincing. You know what it is, like, because I will show her some, like, she will hear about something for a long time. Like I will say, hey, there is this antique. What you can do on this antique is you can draw on the screen, and it'll be useful for your process. And I'll say all this. She'll be like, oh, okay. Months, years pass, nothing. I'll be like, hey, you use antique yet? I'll get to it. Years later, years. And then eventually, what needs to happen? I need to trick her sometimes. I'll be like, hey, can you come in my room for a second? I just want to get your opinion on something. And then I'll draw on the screen, and then she'll be like, oh my, yes, I need this. So
that is what happened.
Yeah.
That is definitely what happened. I was like, oh snap, this is so cool.
Yeah. But I feel like I stay sharp on things depending on what's needed in my projects. Like if I need to do a project that revolves around like physics or smoke or ray tracing or anything crazy complicated like that, then I use the projects as an excuse to learn how to do that thing. So that's pretty much how I keep, because technology keeps getting better and better, and it makes it harder for the older people to, I guess, keep on track with that, because they're used to the old methods of doing things. So that's my way of doing it. I don't know.
I feel like I stay sharp just by like continuing to like look up different arts and researching, and yeah, I feel like there's so many artists out there who are incredible and they're doing something that feels fresh and fun and different. And I feel like you can be inspired by incorporating like something that they're doing, or just reflecting on your own work and being like, what do I keep doing that just feels all the same, or what do I need to do for my work to kind of build it and let it grow naturally. But yeah, for me, it's just like looking at more art, looking at lots more art, and just trying to do more things, trying to experiment.
Yeah, for sure. Experimentation, you learn a lot from doing that.
Yeah.
Because you have your comfort zones of like what you love to do, what you're used to, and then sometimes you just need to be like, I want to do something else. Try something else.
Yeah.
I forgot how to do something. It was. Give me a second. How do you do this? Ah, here it is. What the heck? You didn't do anything. Alright, hold on. What the heck is going on, Aziza?
I don't know. I can't even see what you're working on, so
You probably see it after the stream.
yeah.
Okay, I think that's good. Can you ever truly have a shut off button when you are looking at others' work, or are you always critiquing?
I'm not always critiquing, like, I feel like there's definitely times where we do critique. Like, sometimes I'll watch a movie or I'll watch an animation, and you know how both of us are like, oh, they did that wrong, or there wasn't like a natural follow up. There's like a gap in time, like something missing. I feel like we definitely have moments where we critique, and it's just because we're artists and we know how things should be done. But I'm not always like looking at art and being like, here's my constructive criticism, or here's what I don't like about it, or here's what needs to be changed. Sometimes I'm just looking at it and appreciating it and being like, this is dope, this is amazing.
Like Arcane.
How
Freaking Arcane.
yeah, Arcane, when I watched it, so I have those moments of like watching something and it feels like brand new for me, that I'm so incredibly like fascinated by it. And I felt that way with the Spider-Verse. I was so amazed. Like when I first watched it, I didn't really appreciate it, and then I rewatched it and I was like, this is really incredible. I don't know how they did this. Like, just the colors and the design and just, yeah, everything about the artwork in there just felt very new for me, and I thought it was amazing. And Arcane was the same. I was like, this looks like a brand new style and it's beautiful, and yeah, it was awesome. I love that feeling where you feel like you're discovering something brand new, and then it inspires you to like create and to get your own work going.
Yeah, that stuff is always really cool. Being able to do stuff like that. Like, I loved freaking Spider-Verse, and I use that in my work still today. Like, I still like doing certain things It is such a good movie. The effects were amazing. Also, I broke his arm. Hold on. The effects were incredible. The story is just dope. He says, 3-bit, for one of your upcoming videos, can you have opinion on where we are headed with metaverses? That's a good question.
You're like, maybe.
Well, I don't know where... Okay, let me try to answer your question. So, I think VR in general is I want it to be I want it to be special. I want people to actually use it and use it like they do in Sword Art Online, if you ever watch that, where they pretty much jump into a video game and everyone's experiencing it, and then they basically, it's so realistic that they get lost, right? I think that stuff is dope. However, VR is still in a space where people find it as a hindrance. They're like, oh, okay, I could use a headset, or let me get this off me, or I could just use a controller. So until that sort of goes away, where it's more of an addition, where people are like, oh, it's just I put this on and everything's just floating and I like it, then the metaverse will be better. But also, when it's cheaper, VR is still kind of expensive, and it is getting a lot cheaper. I remember a couple of years ago, it was like $1,000, $800 for a headset, and now it's dropping to like $500 and something. So it is getting cheaper. It just remains to be seen. I think a lot of creators, a lot of animators, developers have to start making amazing products for it. Like we got Half-Life Alyx, which is amazing, but just keep it up, keep doing it until people start looking at it more seriously. Yeah, Arcane was amazing. I agree. Alright. So, the reason why it's snapping is because one of the frames I did, when you're animating something, you turn on what's called a snap mode. And that's just so you can see all the individual poses and you could just focus on the poses. So that's why it's snapping like that. I turned it on and forgot to turn it off. So here it is right here. So now it shouldn't snap. Last question. What video game you're excited for the most? What video game am I excited for the most?
It's a good question.
It is a good
I don't even
question.
know what's coming out.
I just been playing Halo all the time, but Starfield. I'm excited for Starfield. Yeah. What else is coming out? I don't think Hellblade 2 is coming out this year, but I'm actually the most excited for Hellblade 2. But since it's not coming out this year, it's probably Starfield. I'm not as excited for Horizon Zero Dawn. I didn't really like the first one as much. I want to go back into it and be proven wrong, because when I played it, I was just bored. I don't know, I just couldn't do it. And I felt bad that I didn't like it, because everyone's like, oh, it's amazing, oh my god. I just couldn't do it.
You're like, actually, it's not.
I want to be proven wrong, but I don't know. Ziza likes boring movies, so maybe she'll like it.
Of course you would do that. Let's not even go there. There's always a period and
always watching boring movies.
Introduced me to something and it was terrible. Like he sat me down and was like, "Let's watch Suicide Squad," and was excited about it.
Oh, come on.
He was like, "Let's watch it." And then when I was watching, I'm like, "This is terrible. Like, why is he even telling me to watch this?" And then he's sitting there talking about like, "I don't remember this being that bad. I don't know what's going on." And I was sitting there like, all of our time.
Listen, I knew it was bad. I just don't remember it being that bad. Like, for some reason, when I watched it,
I feel like if something's that bad, it like ingrains in your memory of how bad it is. He thought it was good. He just switched up.
No, I never. Don't let her put words in my mouth. I never thought Suicide Squad was good. Okay. Never.
No, you go through periods where you're like really into good movies, and then you're really into bad movies.
This is the person that loves Orlando Bloom.
I do not love what? No, I don't. That's a lie. Why would you say that?
I don't know. It was the first thing I could think of. I didn't have a comeback, so I was
talking about it the other day. It was like, this guy looks different.
Yeah, I seen I think it was in my head because I just watched all the Lord of the Rings with my girlfriend. We watched all the Lord of the Rings movies, and
that's cool.
It was awesome. And then we just
finished
Narnia. Yeah.
You should watch Archive 81 on Netflix. It's scary though.
What's it called?
Archive 81 on Netflix.
I'll check it out. I started watching a cheerleading show.
Cheerleading show.
Yeah. It was like I played it in the background, and it's like a cheerleading documentary. So I was like, I'll just put this on. I can't tell you if it's good.
Oh, on Netflix. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Let me tell you guys, I will literally watch anything.
That is true.
I will watch if it's good.
You used to watch that terrible TV show with freaking Shailene, whatever.
Yeah, Shailene.
That terrible show. Oh my gosh.
I'm talking about
pregnant in the show.
Secret Life of American Teenager.
Yeah, and that was back when like Netflix, you can can you say this? I remember you used to upload it, and then I used to download it, and we would go back and forth.
Oh yeah. I don't think you can do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's not bad so far. It's gonna catch this thing and throw it back. Let's see how fast it can go. That should be faster, actually. I'll change that later. He says, what was the last movie you saw? Did you like it?
Ooh, that movie with Colin Farrell, something that's called like something with a deer in the title. Just seen that yesterday. Colin and I'm looking this up because it was a good movie.
Saw was Prince. No, it was Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and I fell asleep on it. So I guess I didn't like it as much. But it had its moments. It had Eyebrow Kid in there. I call him Eyebrow Kid.
Put some respect on his name.
I don't know his name. I literally always call him Eyebrow Kid.
I know his name, but I forgot his name. It's I follow him on Instagram. Oh my gosh.
You guys know what I'm talking about. Eyebrow Kid.
No.
That guy.
I watched The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Killing of Sacred Deer.
That was really good. That movie was crazy.
I never even heard of that. Is that like a A24
It
movie.
came out in 2017. It's a thriller / horror. Has Nicole Kidman in it too, and Alicia Silverstone, and that dude from Dunkirk, Barry.
Oh, okay.
What is it? Barry Cogan?
I keep getting these Russian bots in the chat. You're gonna think about what you've done, little robot. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You're in jail. Alright. Trying to figure out. For those who don't know what I'm doing, I am animating the camera. So I think it would be kind of cool if the camera's very dynamic. Dang, that looked good. Okay. Alright. We'll go for about like 5 more minutes and then we will end it, you guys. But again, thanks to everybody for coming. Thanks to Kate for making the logo under like I literally didn't have a lot of time to put this stream up. But I'm glad things are sort of working and that you helped out. So thanks, Kate, if you're still watching. Everybody else in chat. East West. Dude, if you're on Twitter or something, feel free to add me if you have any other questions so you don't have to wait for my procrastination of the streams. When I will end up streaming. Add me on Twitter. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. Really appreciate it. What are my thoughts on Halo Infinite campaign? Also, I didn't know how time-consuming animation is. Thanks 3-bit for educating me. Sure, man. Yeah, it can be very time-consuming. Hello, lady. Yeah. You missed a bit talking about our my competitive nature, my dad growing up. My dad literally he pushed us. He definitely did push us growing up. The way he gave us critiques and stuff like that was very valuable later on. I didn't always appreciate it because I'm like, it's like I don't know, when you this picture you draw a little sunflower, right? You're drawing a sunflower and just a sun in the corner like all kids, whatever, and you give it to your dad. And he's like, this sunflower could use more detail, or it could use, you know. So I didn't always appreciate it, but I did.
I feel like that's the natural response.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when anyone's criticizing something or critiquing you, you feel like protective over it, especially if it's something you care about or you think it's good. You know, sometimes you're like, wait, I like this. I thought this was good.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. It's almost the end. It's almost the end. I'm just trying to I'm trying to finish up this last bit of this animation. I didn't finish it, but it's not bad for like an hour. It's not bad. It needs a lot more polish for sure. But also this let's see. This rig of Master Chief is freaking awful. It's hard to accept criticism in general. Yeah, I do agree. I mean,
That's what I feel. I feel like, you know, yeah, it's hard to just be like, I'm going to be so open about you critiquing me. It's just
you have
hard.
to like change your mindset about it.
Yeah. Also, SCAD, one thing I will say is they've had so many critique sessions like all the time that so pretty much helps you to understand like what you're in.
Yeah, like being in a art college really helps you accept critiques, but yeah, it did take a bit because it's not always. It's not.
You hear Ruby?
Yeah, I do.
Well, I'm sick.
Yeah, you could show them Rumi before we get out. Yeah, especially as a father son. But I try to sort of step outside myself and accept people's opinions of me. I think I always appreciate people being really honest to me. Like, oh, Rumi. Okay, I'll do a little close up.
Ruby, look.
It's so cute.
Oh boy. Alright, put him down.
But yeah, I always appreciate something I value in my friendships and everything. People I work with, I really always appreciate people being super honest, whether they hurt my feelings or not. That is something I've always really valued. Alright, so we are going to end the stream. Thank you guys for coming. I'll play the animation one more time so you guys can see. So, that's all I got done. Could use a lot of work. You guys get to just see the overall process of everything. This worked a lot better than I thought it would. And now Rumi, he wants us to go too. So thank you guys for tuning in. Ziza, tell people where they can find you.
Oh yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. It's gonna be my first and last name, Aziza Andre. It's normally where I am kind of in the loop. I sometimes use Twitter, but mostly Instagram.
Yes. And you guys can follow me at i3bit. And lady, I will go make myself a bootleg sandwich. That is coming. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. You guys can follow me on at i3bit on Twitter. If you want to follow me on Instagram, since I know some of you guys are like, I don't have Twitter. It is Amario Andre. It's just my name. Okay. So I'll see you guys on the next stream. Bye.
Bye.